Welcome to another episode of SportsVibe. It's a busy week in sports, like always. We're going to recap a busy week in the NFL, week five, as we get ready for week six action. But yeah, week five was definitely a busy one. We'll also, if we have some time, we'll also talk about the the MLB playoffs, as divisional series are now going on. Yeah, a lot of progress has been made in those series, so we'll talk about that, and maybe some start of the NHL season, some cricket if we have some time with the World Cup going on. But yeah, first of all, let's start with the NFL games. Busy week, like I said, two times already, I think. But
Yeah.
start on Thursday night with the
Yeah.
Bears
You
beating the
want to do you
Commanders.
want to
Like
do like
whatever,
last
most
time? We just speed
surprising.
run. You want to
Yeah,
do
let's
like last
let's
time? Just speed
let's
run through
speed
each
let's
game.
speed run. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Chicago. First win in 14 games, nearly first win in a year. So
Mm-hmm.
congratulations to y'all. And
Yeah.
also big congratulations to Chicago right now for at the current moment for owning the first two picks in the NFL draft for 2024.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
the Panthers
Yeah,
trade.
that's true. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, they can get their quarterback, they can get someone else. Yeah, good stuff. But they also got a win on the day that Dick Buckus died. So I mean that's monumental for
And I
Chicago. It's
mean,
a
I
great way
mean,
to
if this game
you
is
know
really for if this game is really for Dick Buckus, then there'd be a little more defense involved. But hey, I
that's
mean,
true. Yeah.
this is two solid back-to-back performances by Justin Field. And can we
Right.
talk about David Moore? That man went off. David
Yeah.
Moore went
Yeah.
off,
I mean DJ
and
Moore. Yeah. He had like
Emmanuel
over 200 yards and like it's a ridiculous amount of fantasy points too.
and the Washington cornerback Emmanuel Forbes became the whipping boy for the second week in a row.
Yeah. Got absolutely burnt. Um
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just going over the Commanders Bears game. We just started with the recap. So in as much, I guess from the Commanders side, it's kind of surprising considering they almost, they went toe to toe with the Eagles before losing in overtime this week. Completely different story, losing to, you know, probably the worst team, one of the worst teams in the entire NFL in the Bears, and not only losing, but getting blown out. So yeah, I mean, a little bit of regression to the mean, I guess. It's just, yeah. So Sam Howell didn't, I mean, he was all right, but he wasn't
Yeah.
as good as he was the week before, obviously. So
Yeah.
that
All right.
definitely, yeah, that definitely contributed to it. But
All right.
I guess
All right.
moving to the
Let's go
Sunday
over to
slate.
London and talk Jaguars Bills.
Big
Mm-hmm.
upset. Was a pretty big upset. Obviously, I didn't, expect that result, but seems, like this Jaguars offense is trying to find their groove. Um, Josh Allen, he had a lot of underthrows and, a few bad, decisions on Sunday. It might have cost him the game, but I think the Jaguars have found their identity. They just have to establish that in games. They have a tough schedule coming up. So I think that's, how they have to go, how they approach this game. Bills defense, though, I'd be extremely worried. They just lost, they've lost three of their best players for the year.
Milano
So Milano, Daquan Jones, they're great nose tackle. So it's up to
and
guys like
Tre'Davious White was taken out the previous week with I think an
yeah,
Achilles injury, if I remember
yes.
correctly.
So he's gone. So Ed
Mm-hmm.
Oliver, Von Miller,
Wow. Yeah.
whoever they're
No, Von
Micah
Miller's coming
Hyde.
back.
I know. I'm just saying they have to step up. So
Oh,
Poyer and Hyde, the legendary safety duo that's
I mean, they
playing
don't
for
Right.
have to
Right.
Cincinnati.
step up. They don't have to step up. They can
Mhm,
just collapse.
mhm.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think this is an upset. I mean, Jacksonville, like Jacksonville was able to go toe to toe with the Bills before last year. I mean, in that, I
True.
think that so like, I mean, I don't really see this as an upset. I see this more as like, I mean, the Jaguars surface with their offense. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
hmm
Yeah. So yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
they've only scratched the surface with their offense. I don't know what the hell I just said before, but
After
they're
after some bad losses, I think this was a perfect way to get back on track, even though it
oh,
was against a very much depleted Bills defense after the first and second quarters.
well. Speaking of bad losses, let's get it over with. Saints Patriots. I'm not going to bother talking about the Patriots because they didn't bother showing up. So why should I bother to show up for this segment?
A lot of it was just bad, and some of it might be on Mac, some of it definitely is, but he just has no line, he has no receivers, and you're facing the Saints defense that has so many good cornerbacks, and that team that put an effort into investing in their defensive line, giving Cam Jordan an extension, giving signing Brian drafting Brizzy. So this Saints team looks pretty good. I mean, like, sure, they blew it against Green Bay, but yeah, give him credit. Derek Carr, he didn't play all that well, but he didn't need to. So,
Well,
it's just that,
he doesn't need to with the way the Patriots are playing. I mean,
yeah.
honestly, I don't
And
even know if we'll be able to beat the Raiders next week. I honestly have no idea.
yeah, I think the Saints should have probably rested Derek Carr for this week as well, given a shoulder injury. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, and next week is Jacoby Myers' revenge game, so that'll be fun.
yeah.
Please don't hate us,
Arnav,
Jacoby.
any thoughts on the Saints game?
A bit surprising. I mean, I understand like getting blown out by
Surprising.
the Cowboys like that, but I mean, the Saints, like the
And
Patriots
that's
might
they
have.
one of the
It's
worst
not
red zone
for.
offenses. They
Wait,
had one of
what?
the worst. They had one of the worst red zone offenses in the NFL. But then again, no Judon, no Gonzalez, pretty much a banged up
Yeah,
secondary.
Yeah, that's fair. Those
I mean,
injuries
listen,
really aren't
I'm
helping
not trying
them.
to knock on the Saints, but it's like as a
yeah.
Patriots fan, I don't know how the hell to look at
You
this
got
other
to you
than
got you got to recognize, that there were a lot of limitations, unfortunately. It was a very bad loss. This team is
was
1-4.
was Matt
They're in the
Patricia really that bad as an offensive coordinator? I'm
I
starting
think
to
so,
think no, Matt Patricia,
well,
because
I
Bill
meant like
O'Brien
if
is doing a damn terrible job.
well, I meant like to be fair, right? I mean, like Mac has regressed so much since his rookie year, and a lot of that starts with Matt Patricia. So, I'm definitely gonna give him a lot of blame too. But this is a team that's made, I think Julian Edelman said it, a lot of very questionable personnel decisions, and they have to get over it. We're probably gonna have a top 5 draft pick this year. If you're not gonna use it on a quarterback, at least, give Mac some help. Draft either a tackle or Marvin Harrison Jr. And if you don't do either, that is just malpractice, I'd argue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I
All
could
right.
have said it better
All right.
myself,
All
but
right.
yeah.
I don't want to talk
Mhm.
about the Patriots anymore.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Let's
Titans, Colts.
it was a surprising game, but man, I am very concerned about Anthony Richardson. I mean, like, he has every, trait you want in a franchise quarterback. He is fast, he is strong, he's powerful. He has, one of the strongest arms in the league right now, but you just can't keep, playing in this style. You managed to do that, Shane managed to do that with Jalen Hurts for 2 years, and in the end, I mean, like, it cost him. I mean, like, there were some games he missed in 2021 and 2022, and sure, Anthony Richardson might, be much more well built than Jalen Hurts, but that doesn't mean he's going to be less injury prone. And he's already missed what 3 games so far, and he's going to be on IR, so miss another 4. You just can't keep doing that.
This is just another quarterback carousel of the glue factory, courtesy of the Indianapolis Colts. I mean,
And I mean, like,
since,
I know, yeah, Shane Steichen's got to realize this. He is a great mind. What he did last year was nothing short of phenomenal. With how he managed to morph that offense into one of the best we've seen in a long time. But you got to realize you just can't keep putting your quarterback in, like having him get tackled by, defensive tackles and, edge rushers that weigh as much or even more than him. So I think that was stupid. You got to realize, you can't do that because, you know, it's just a bad business model, for a guy you drafted 4th overall.
I mean,
So,
the Colts are no stranger to bad business models. So,
yeah. And the Titans, I'm actually, we didn't talk about Jonathan Taylor and, Zach
Hmm.
Moss. So Jonathan Taylor obviously got the big money, hasn't played in a game yet this year, a meaningful game with meaningful snaps. So, I'm not concerned about that. I was very surprised they actually signed him to an extension given Jim Irsay's history with, running backs and,
Yeah.
refusing to pay, like Hall of Famers, I guess, at that position. But I'm surprised by what he did. I think, I don't know what got into him, but something did.
Yeah.
I think,
Especially
yeah,
after what he said
that's
earlier
good.
too.
Arnav, you know what this means. This will only impact Saquon Barkley and
Yeah.
Josh
Seems like
Jacobs.
in a good way, so that's a good
Maybe
thing.
maybe not in a good way
Well,
for
yeah, he
like
might be
team
losing a
structure
good
and
guy.
things. But anyways, let's
Yeah, I'd also like to shout out Gardner Minshew. He didn't play, he didn't, he's the best, one of the best, probably the best
Quality
backup
backup.
quarterback right
Yeah.
now. And and let's talk about the Titans. Their offense is amazing at home, and it is, very bad on the road. They got to get that fixed out. That defense is always going to be elite, but
Mm,
you just can't keep this business model. You just can't be,
right.
playing like the '07 Patriots at home and then playing like the 2016, 2017 Browns away. You have to find that,
Yeah, a
model that
happy
works.
medium there. Yeah,
Yes.
or be able to,
So,
yeah,
mhm,
exactly. Play well
yeah.
at home.
Well,
Let's let's
I
mhm.
guess talking of boring teams, let's go into the Ravens and Steelers.
I think, the Ravens, they should have won this game by 20 or more,
Yes.
if we're being honest,
Hmm.
because the Ravens receivers looks like they had 20 drops on Sunday, drops after drops. Todd
Well,
Monken,
I mean,
he
you
was
signed
yeah,
Nelson Aguilar. What do you expect? I mean, we
fair,
suffered
but I
through
mean, like,
that.
it's not just him. I mean, like, you had Mark Andrews dropping passes, you had, Zay Flowers dropping passes. Those are not, good business models for a team that, has an MVP caliber guy throwing the ball. Todd Monken, he was consistently getting guys open. Lamar put it on him perfectly, and they just, seem to have worse butterfingers than anybody on Sunday, you know. And Matt Canada's play calling is as bland as, mashed potatoes. So
Hey, come on, don't insult mashed potatoes like that. At least they have the
fair.
potential to be good
I
and
did,
salvaged.
yeah, but I did. Yeah, I do like, if Matt Canada could call what he calls at the end of every game, it seems like consistently, this Steelers team would be much better. It seems like that's, the 2-minute drives are probably the only thing he does well. And even that, it's not always successful. I love to see two Hoover High alums going at it, George Pickens and Marlon Humphrey. We obviously know who won that battle. So Ravens, you have all the pieces and you're playing well.
They
Like
don't have
I
any
don't
pieces. Their
well,
entire team is injured.
Well, I mean, like you saw. I mean, like if they didn't drop all those passes, they would have won by 20, is what I'm saying. So I'm really surprised. Looks like T.J. Watt has another injury that could keep him out for maybe a little bit, finger in hand. So as long as he's okay, the Steelers team is going to be okay. Cam Hayward is coming back in a few weeks, so they'll need him a lot. Let's go to
Yeah,
the yeah. Yeah, let's go to a game that I actually had to watch.
Battle of the Cats.
Yeah. The Falcons and the
Oh, never mind.
Texans.
oh, okay.
Yeah, this is
We'll get
yeah,
to that one.
this was just in my market. It was a pretty good game
Yeah, it
actually,
makes that. Yeah. Hmm.
Desmond Ritter had a great game, 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, pretty impressive, and the game-winning drive. So, he that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but it does in the final score. Great work
Right.
by him. CJ Stroud probably should have gotten picked off once or twice. You know, Jesse Bates should probably be on an all-pro list with the way he's playing at the end of the year. So great work by him. Uh, this, Texans team, obviously their defense, not as good as they've played the past 2 weeks, but they'll get under it. CJ Stroud played, well, but not as good as he has these past 2 weeks. So, if the Atlanta Falcons played every game at home, they'd be the '07 Patriots, undefeated, flying high, which they're not. So if they can find out how to win on the road, this, they maybe could sneak in as a wild card team.
Yeah, potentially. And then I guess
Mhm.
going to another NFC South team, um, the Battle of the Cats, as we just mentioned, we got Lions versus Panthers.
Yeah,
Panthers are
another
the only
game.
0-5 team now in the NFL, and the Lions
Yeah,
are sitting nice at
yeah,
4-1, the top of the NFC North. So,
yeah.
yeah,
I think nobody expected Carolina to be in this situation. 0-5, they thought they'd prob-
Laporta is a certified baller for the Lions.
yes, the way they use him, I was very shocked, and I thought they were stupid for taking him over Mayer, who
Laporta, yeah, he's very good. Yeah.
who
He was like
probably,
the face of that Iowa offense last year,
yeah,
actually. So,
I think Mayer should probably have gone 15, 20 picks higher than he was, but looks like I think they're just kind of justified taking Laporta over Mayer. Um, they played really well. This Lions offense is elite. It's like it's top 5 in the league easily.
Super Bowl
When they're playing,
contenders.
they
Super Bowl
if they're
contenders.
I still have questions about their defense. It seems they're playing good against bad
Yeah,
teams.
and they just
yeah.
lost. They just lost
Mhm.
another corner.
They lost
Mostly.
Emmanuel Mosley. Yes, they lost Emmanuel Mosley for he tore his left ACL last year. This one is it's right ACL, so that's
Poor
just
dude.
unfortunate. If they get a top, I think they definitely look into drafting a cornerback next year in their
And,
first round.
and
You
that's
know,
who I think it was this past offseason they traded away Jeff Okuda when they They drafted him like third overall a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
Um,
cornerback would definitely be in their echelon.
Kalen King, Will Johnson, or Kool-Aid, whichever one, and this team is probably not going to have a top 20 pick. And, we'd obviously
Of
be
course not.
shocked we'd obviously be shocked, I mean, like most years, that's a top 2 pick for the Lions. And like the fact that, they're not going to be a top 20 pick says a lot about, what they've been able to do. If the Patriots fire Bill Belichick or something, I think Ben Johnson should probably be first, if not second, on that list, because he's shown that he can get an average quarterback playing really, really well. So
I don't see that happening.
uh,
Like maybe at most I see like GM duties being taken away,
yeah,
but
I'm
not
just in theory,
head coach
but
for a while.
but Ben Johnson, I really love his offense. He's maximizing his players. He knows he has these bag of tricks that's deeper than the Mariana Trench, and I love to see his offense. He definitely should be a head coach elsewhere next year this time.
Well, speaking of competent offenses, let's talk Dolphins Giants.
Yeah.
Arnav,
Yeah, well, I guess it's my turn to rip off the bandage on how bad the Giants were for the second
hey,
straight
come on,
week,
you weren't
and
as pathetic as us. Just
that's
Mhm.
true. They actually did play better than the
and
Patriots, but
well,
that's not really saying
first
too
thing is you
much.
actually scored points, but then again,
Hmm.
we also kept it within a touchdown of the Dolphins, and if it weren't for some rough robbery at the end of the game with the Cole Strange quote unquote fourth down, who knows what
Mhm.
would have happened? But
And the thing,
whatever. I digress.
yeah, the thing about Giants, their O line is
I
worse than
know. It's like they're
the
like by far probably the
well,
worst in the league.
it's
You
it's
know what
more
your
it's
offense is, Arnav. You
Mhm.
know what your offense is. You ever been in New York City? Like you ever been in the subways?
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
offense is literally like your the Giants' offensive line is literally those turnstiles into the subway.
yeah,
Yeah. Like what is
it's
Evan Neal doing? Like he's not even blocking. Like forget about
And
blocking bad or blocking the wrong guy. He's just
he's
blocking air
bashing the fan.
sometimes. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
and he's bashing the fans for what
Yeah,
reason
how
it
but
does
is.
like how dare you I know he
but I
apologized, but I
will
mean how dare you
but
say that when he's playing like
Go
this?
off,
It's
Arnav.
as
Go
ridiculous.
off. Go
as
off.
as somebody who watched Evan Neal play, drafting a left
Wait, he
tackle
played?
to
He's from Alabama.
he's from Alabama, right?
No. He
Some
played last week.
uh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most fans could have probably done better, but he did
Yeah.
play
So,
technically.
what I will say is, in his defense, right? You don't draft a left tackle to play right tackle. You don't do
That's
that.
fair.
No,
If you were,
100%,
if you
100% on
were,
that.
if you were gonna do that, you should have probably taken, Abe Lucas, in the third round or later rounds. But you just, I can't justify, that. But yeah, I also can't justify his, his, level of playing on the field. I don't know if it's scheme, if it's coaching, or if it's, him. It probably definitely is a little bit of all three. But
Mm,
he should probably, he's like he's a liability right now.
yeah.
You probably should move him to guard if possible, or that's figure out some place to be for him. I will say, this Dolphins offense, it's getting better. It's getting, we always saw the Denver game, but this is a great offense. They're going to lose Devon Achan for,
I
a
know. He's
4
in my
weeks,
fantasy team. I
which
just
is
figured out my running back situation. Like,
which
it's
is
okay.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
Arnav,
mm,
just like real football, next man up.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
I will
fair. I
say
got someone off waiver.
that the Giants' offense wasn't all that impressive, given that the Giants, they like almost half their points came from the pick six. So
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
it wasn't the offense's job. I hope Daniel Jones, gets better quickly.
Yeah, me too. That's
Saquon
the
I
thing.
hope
Barkley.
the
Like,
other
no one can
I
play
hope
behind
the
that
other
line.
Jones gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
Even
talk about
Tyrod
it.
Taylor is getting like hit in there.
Yeah.
Like, it was just bad.
Um, let's
Anyway.
talk about okay, so let's talk about last night's game, Raiders and Rangers
Right.
and the
Mm,
Packers. I
yeah.
think
Mhm.
I think there were a lot of
Jordan Love seems to have run out of magic.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that. I think, the play calls, they kind of, yeah, it was a lot of it was on him, but I don't think, Matt LaFleur was, doing many good play calls, and Joe Barry's, play calling is like absolute, disaster. Why are you putting a defensive lineman on the best receiver in the league? You did it last year against Jefferson, you're doing it this year against Devontae Adams. Are you stupid or what? Like that is straight up incompetence. And him going on to catch like a 20-yard pass on that play, like what the hell? Like you could put up a backup corner and put up a safety on him, and that would be better. Like obviously it might not work out in your favor, but why are you putting a defensive lineman on him? Like
Yeah,
stupidity.
that doesn't make any sense.
I will,
Yeah.
the Packers red zone, the Packers red zone mistakes also, caught up with them. Good job on Marcus Peters, making that horse collar tackle. I'm still not impressed with this Raiders offense. I just am not, I
Me
think
neither.
they think they downgraded at quarterback, they just did not play that well, and Josh McDaniels should probably be fired as soon as possible. So, I'm not impressed. The Raiders defense wasn't that good either. So, this team seems like they're trying to stay competitive, but they're utterly failing. So there's that. Let's talk about Sunday Night Football, though, which I
Yeah.
was very,
Mhm.
very excited to watch.
Me
I
too.
thought this would be a good game. Obviously, it was
Well,
not.
it was a good game for Arnav, at least.
It was a good
Yeah,
game.
it saved my
Yeah.
day because the Giants got blown out, Eagles won, but the Niners blew out the Cowboys, so that was
So
fun for me to
yeah,
watch,
that was a
definitely.
that was a very, very
Well, the
that was a
Niners
very
make every team they face look bad. So
like
That's
I'd like
true.
to I'd like to shout out Steve Wilkes, the former Carolina head coach, who's gone to San Francisco. He held his offense to 7 points. The same offense that has done so well so far. He held them to 7 points.
Well, 10,
Like
I
well,
guess
I
technically, but yeah.
no, well,
well,
field
I
goal.
mean,
Forget
like,
the field goal.
let's
okay,
also give credit to the Cardinals. Then they held the Cowboys to 16 points.
true.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is, if it's Mike McCarthy or the defensive play calling, but that
Of course, it's
defense,
Mike McCarthy.
yeah. Well,
Mm,
I don't know what it is, but that 49ers defense is for real. And the fact that they're getting Randy Gregory is, it's like putting
I
icing
know.
on the cake. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
this is an amazing defense, and their schedule seems pretty easy. I would not be surprised if they
relatively
finish
easy.
with 15 or 16 wins this year. They could
Wow.
No,
they could
Yeah,
I'm gonna
impress.
say
that'd be nice.
14-3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 14-3.
14-3 and the NFC's one would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they can
I
have
think
home field against the Eagles, I think they
mhm,
have a chance to
yeah.
beat them.
I
If
think,
it's in Philly, it might be a tall order, but we'll see.
the Cowboys defense was,
And
uncharacteristic.
if Brock Purdy's healthy,
That
Yeah.
too. That's the most
because
important part. Because their
I
offense
think,
is loaded, their defense is solid,
mhm.
but if their quarterback isn't healthy, yeah, that might not go so well as we saw last
I
year.
think
But
also,
but there's also one thing we're forgetting: Shanahan is a playoff joker.
mm,
and
yeah, I've just been
speaking,
way more impressed with the Niners than either the Chiefs or the Eagles so far. I mean, they've had easier opponents or as difficult, and they've kind of struggled to get wins. I'm not really struggled, but they've just
speaking
been in
of,
close
Oh,
games.
come on! The Chiefs have had nothing but easy opponents. Speaking of which, let's talk
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a valid point.
they had a good game, although a lot of ref
Uh,
ball at the end.
Yeah, I
what else?
felt
Four
What else was
what's
new? Like,
new.
what else was new?
four flaggable
Andy Reid
calls.
gets
Yeah.
Roger Goodell on the phone and says, "Hey, come on, you need to give us some calls." Roger's like, "All right, I got you."
But like
I
the
mean, come
thing
on,
is,
that fourth down no call on the PI
no,
in overtime.
there were four, there were four flaggable, instances, events on that fourth down, and none of them got flagged, Legarius taking off the helmet and committing PI, roughing the passer,
PI, I
and then
definitely thought I
Yeah,
saw.
holding. But that was, stupid. And
yeah. So what?
I mean, like I'm not
another fraudulent win for the
yeah.
Chiefs.
I'm not, Chiefs, I mean, they're obviously going to be good, but, Kelsey has that,
I
he
know.
seems to have an ankle injury, which isn't ideal.
He
But
came back
Yeah.
into the game. He's
yeah.
fine.
But let's talk about the bigger injury and probably one of the biggest all season.
Jay Jets.
Justin Jefferson. Yes,
Oh,
that
yeah.
injury. Oh my God, it is going to put him out of contention this year, unfortunately.
No,
This
no.
team
Yeah.
I
is
think
If
one of
there's
I
the
any
think
good.
question about that.
Vikings got to try and sell off certain assets,
Mhm.
whatever they
Yes,
can.
and that's an unfortunate. This is a team that's trying to come together at a ripe time, and it's just not going to happen. He's going to be out 4 weeks against some tough opponents, so that's going to be extremely unfortunate for them. And yeah, they should try fire selling. Good thing is Caleb Williams wants to play for the Minnesota Vikings, so they should be happy about that. But yeah,
Hey, they got some competition for first
mhm,
overall. Then
Mhm.
yeah,
they got the
They got the
Bears, they got the
Bears. Yeah.
Bears, and then they got us.
yeah.
And
Let's
Yeah.
talk
even the
about yeah.
Broncos. speaking of which, let's
Yeah,
talk about
Giants
the
probably won't be
Broncos.
too far removed either.
Yeah,
Wait,
Broncos.
let's talk the Broncos.
Jets
Hackett
Broncos.
was
Yeah.
The Nathaniel Hackett revenge game.
Revenge game.
This wasn't, Hackett's offense was very mid as usual, but Vance Joseph made him look like a genius, and Jets defense came in clutch, yet again.
Mhm.
With
Vance
a
Joseph
strip
by
sack.
proxy. Vance Joseph by proxy makes almost any offense look like genius.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened, I know why that, it's him, why that defense gone from top 5 to bottom 5. So, and the offense isn't cutting him some slack either. It's clear that this team doesn't have an identity yet, and I like the Sean Payton hire. They obviously gave up a ton of assets to acquire him, and having
Too
cuts,
much.
but you're not going to be competitive this year. You're gonna have to give it some time, get the players to know the system, get a new D coordinator yesterday, and play him. But how about the Jets?
Mhm.
They've lost so many players. Aaron. They lose their they've lost their guard Elijah Vera Tucker for the year. Dwayne
Yeah.
Brown and one of their tackles is on IR, and they still go into this game and they win it. I mean, I thought they were going to, because Nathaniel Hackett was going to get revenge somehow. But
Yeah.
credit the Jets, credit their defense.
No credit to the Jets. It's just a curse of the Broncos.
Fair. But the Jets defense did play really well. It has played really well these past 2 years, and that's the single reason
Yeah.
they're competitive. So let's talk about another team whose defense was pretty good, Philly and the Rams. And I watched that game. I think they should have probably broadcasted it. Where I was. Unfortunately, they didn't.
Yeah,
But
they didn't even have it in my
yeah.
area either,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
So
It was
I would
good.
like that game was, really, really good after, after about 3 minutes in the second half. But then
Mhm.
Philly, this team is 5-0 and they're not playing their best football, or at
That's
least,
that's kind of the scary part here.
but
Yeah.
No, I
they're
don't.
not.
I wouldn't necessarily call it scary, because they're clearly not playing up to their full potential. If you're
Yeah, it's like
I
five,
a
think
no,
yeah,
no,
it's
it's
like
like
a
if you're five, no,
double-edged thing, I guess.
if you're 5 weeks in and you still haven't really unlocked yourself, there's got to be something deeper itself
I
within
mean,
the
like
team.
that. I mean, like I think we're just so accustomed to seeing them, play really, really well after we saw them last year. So we have to
Right.
remember this is a new team. They have new coordinators. They're still trying to,
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, if this is the way this team is gonna be, then we have to just assume that it's gonna be like this, because every team's
Yeah.
gonna have a different identity every year. But I like the Eagles' offense was great. They controlled the clock really well. Especially that, 32-second drive, just
Oh
like
yeah.
75 yards in 4 plays, 32 seconds. That is just great against you in a road game, against a
Yeah.
team, that like that. But they also they just flat out, ground grinded out the second half. They only punted once the entire game and they just kept running the damn ball, you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
and
speaking of teams that grinded in the second half, let's talk Bengals. First of all, Bengals,
let's
welcome back,
hold up.
Jamar Chase.
Jitesh, let me finish about the Rams.
All right, sure.
Um, their offense, I mean, like when Philly's defense was great after the second half. They only let up like 101 yards. But the Rams offense is up and down, I'd say. I mean, like I know they're trying their best. Puka Nakua, Cooper Cup
Mhm.
are, seem like a good 1A, 1B tandem,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
they traded Van Jefferson earlier today to Atlanta.
Yeah, I saw that as
So
well.
I think just the Rams defense is probably the weakest point of the team right now. They have really nobody outside Aaron Donald, and
Yeah. Yeah.
if they I'd expect them to also be in the market for drafting a cornerback or a safety next year. Because they traded away their best, defensive player other than Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, unfortunately. So if they get a top pick, they're definitely going to use it on a cornerback or trade for one. So that's there. Other than that, this Rams offense is, seems pretty good. But like, Matthew Stafford throwing the ball. So
Mhm.
good things are gonna happen. But yeah, let's talk Bengals. Jamar Chase, he put up 52 points for my fantasy team.
Yeah.
Eternally
Three,
grateful.
got the hat
Crazy.
trick. Got the hat
Hat
trick
trick.
for TDs.
I will tell you this Bengals offense is back until I've seen them play another game against, a better opponent. Sure,
Right.
Arizona did beat Dallas, but that was,
Yeah, we know that was
Arizona,
like that.
they're playing with heart, they kept it rather close. But
They've done that like multiple
yeah,
times this season.
yeah, and I think I'd love to see the Bengals, the Cardinals play a good game against a tough opponent. I think the Bengals defense is getting better every week. This isn't the same group last year. They lost a lot of their good players. Lou Anarumo, who's shut down Allen and Mahomes before. He's
Mhm.
it isn't the defense that we saw last year, but this is a team that's growing. They have a lot of young players on that side of the ball. Joe Burrow finally beat the waste of money allegations. So I think this team, they're obviously without T. Higgins, but this team was pretty good, and the Cardinals, like, yeah, sure, they're tanking. We all know that, but they played with heart, and you got to respect that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much that's all the games. Now Jitesh, you wanted to talk some
All right,
MLB,
all right,
some other
let's go.
sports.
All right,
Let's
all
do a
right.
little rapid fire.
All right, speed run time. MLB, let's go. All right, right now we're live. Game 3, Rangers Orioles. Rangers are absolutely killing the Orioles. Two
Yeah.
zip right now in the series, and it's currently 7-1 in top of the eighth.
Mhm.
Rangers are probably looking like ALC, are probably looking destined for the ALCS, unless I just cursed them right now. So it's very possible you could get Battle of Texas for ALCS, which is what I wanted all this time. So let's
Yeah.
go. Game 2 of Phillies Braves from
Oh, that was
yesterday.
insane, man.
Oh
I
my
just
God.
Great comeback from the
I did
Braves.
not
Austin
watch.
Riley.
I did not watch after the seventh inning because I thought we just lost. But what a win!
Hey, maybe that
Very
helped. Maybe
surprised.
that
Yeah.
helped. Great comeback from Austin Riley. And what a catch from Michael Harris on the double play. An 8-5-3 put out to end the game. I don't know if we've ever seen that before. And
We haven't.
speaking of great losses, thank you, Dodgers. You're down 2-zip to the Diamondbacks. Thank you, Corbin Carroll, for absolutely humiliating these overrated scrubs. Come on, just one more game, D-backs. One more game. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
And
the Braves is probably like Philly's probably the last place you want to play
I know.
in the
Yeah, it's
MLB
gonna be
right
tough
now.
too at the
It's
bank.
gonna be
Yeah.
tough. If we
wait.
take one,
I got to finish this one. All right.
yeah.
Game 3, Houston Twins. Houston just absolutely destroyed the Twins today. It was by Jordan Alvarez and Jose Abreu. Houston leads 2-1, could potentially end it. And then we'll have a battle. We'll have a battle of Texas for the rights to go to the World Series within the AL. That'll certainly be very interesting. And now, quickly moving on to the NHL. The season started today. Lightning Predators was the first game. Nikita Kucherov scores the first goal for the Lightning. Andrei Vasilevsky's out for a couple of months because of back surgery, and the Lightning still find a way to win this game 5-3, which is quite impressive. And right now, the Blackhawks Penguins are playing. Of course, this is the story of the battle for the number 1 overall picks. Well,
Right.
Sidney
Bedard.
Crosby from 2005
Yeah.
and Connor Bedard from this year. Currently, the Penguins right now, at the time I'm speaking, lead 2-1 in the third period with about 16 minutes left to go. And the next game that takes off, the Kraken are visiting the defending champion Golden Knights later tonight. So that'll certainly be fun. And to quickly wrap up, the ICC, India, what a comeback against Australia, especially after Rohit Sharma was the most useless player in the Indian cricket team. Well, I can't even say player because he didn't even play. But what outstanding batting by Kohli as usual, and by KL Rahul, and then
It's
outstanding.
on Indian. If it's not, it's on Indian turf. So hopefully India,
It's the pressure.
gets get there. I mean, like, you can't start off slow, then expect
and
to,
of course, outstanding bowling by Bumrah, by Jadeja, the wicket masters right there. Ashwin pitched in well, and Hardik Pandya, he struggled a bit, but then again, he took a cricket ball right to one of his bowling hands, so that was certainly quite difficult. And Siraj also did a decent job. So India's let's see how the rest of the ICC shows up. It seems like a lot of tough competition out there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a wrap on this episode. Talked a lot of NFL, did a little rapid fire at MLB, NHL, and cricket, and we'll see you next week for another episode. So till then, stay safe and enjoy some football.